What's good, YouTube? Brother Derek checking in. Hope everybody's doing well. Coming back to y'all with another episode, and today we're gonna be talking about it's gonna be really a story time episode today, y'all. So y'all don't really know my story. I never really told y'all why I do what I do. How did I get to this place? And I'm gonna tell y'all what changed my life, and what really changed my life, as y'all know, is relationships. Getting married, meeting my wife. That really changed my life and inspired me to write that book behind me. But also, real estate changed my life too. And I didn't really tell y'all about my background in real estate. So today will be a story time. I'm gonna give y'all information on my journey and the importance of relationships in real estate. And as I said earlier, y'all know my story, and I made many episodes and videos about the importance of healthy relationships, picking the right partner, and etc. But also, that that relationship helped me because meeting my wife helped me, but also she's the reason why I got into real estate, and y'all don't know that yet, but y'all will shortly. Is that you know when I met her, she was all about getting a house and getting into real estate, and me, my mom had a house and she owned the house. I never really had plans to buy a house anytime soon. I think at some point I would have, but it wasn't really on my mind at the time when I met my wife. But either way, she was on like, yo, I need to get a house, and she was very big on not paying rent, and I don't blame her because rent is expensive, especially now. But at the time I was renting, and she was trying to get her first house, and we were talking and all that, and then she came up with this idea from another person that we work with, which was buying a duplex. I don't know if I'm pretty sure y'all know what that is, but if y'all don't know, a duplex is basically two homes in one. So you have, a lot of times it's a side by side, and you got one door, and each each unit has its own everything. It has its own bedrooms, bathrooms. Um, it's separate. It's separate. So the only time you would see the other person is maybe entering or exiting your house as in passing. But a lot of times you don't even see them at that point because a lot of times people are on the same different schedules. But either way, that was her plan, and she executed on that plan. She got a duplex, and we were talking, and then she gave me that idea about living for free, and y'all, that blew my mind. I'm like, you can live for free, like like live for free, because your biggest expense usually is your rent, your housing, where you rest your head. You have to pay unless you live at home, which is okay, because I had to move back home to get my duplex. But I'll tell you that story further down the line. But either way, your biggest expense usually is where you live, and she basically had that idea that if I could just buy a duplex, I could live in one side, and then the other tenant would pay me to live on the other side. And if you do that correctly, she did that correctly. Her mortgage was, let's say, at the time, I think her mortgage was $800, and her tenant was paying, I think, like maybe $950. So she was living on her side, and the tenant was living on their side. Her tenant was paying her $950. Her mortgage was $800, maybe $850. Let's just say it's $850. So she made $100. So she didn't have to pay rent. She didn't have to pay. She didn't have to pay any living expenses except for RG&E, which is in our city. That's our gas and electric company, and she had to pay the water bill as the landlord. A lot of times you have to pay for the water in duplexes because there's no way to determine which side is using X amount of water, so the landlord pays the entire water bill. But bam, so living for free. So me meeting her, she brought that idea to me, and we both had this idea that we're gonna do this. And as I told y'all, she did it first, I did it second. But I would have never even had this idea if I didn't meet her. Like if I just went along and didn't even bother talking to her, or just, you know, and that's why I tell you the importance of healthy relationships, and getting around the right people, because I was dealing with people that, weren't even thinking on that type of level. A lot of people, the people I was dealing with prior to her, were thinking down here. They weren't even, on it like that. They were just, you know, in survival mode, which is, we have to do what we got to do to survive. But there's ways to do things, and there's people that are on entirely different levels that you wouldn't even know unless you know talk to people and get around other people, and also stop being around people that are down here or just not even elevating or looking at doing things differently, doing things on a higher level. So that's the importance of getting around the right people. That's the importance of relationships, and you know how they can lead to other ventures and ideas. So you know, for back to the story. So you know, she got her. We were on this journey together. You know, we weren't married yet. We were on the journey together. You know, she was looking for her house. We were kind of looking for a house at the same time, but I wasn't ready because I was still living in a complex. So, you know, delayed gratification. I had to take a step back, and it was hard, y'all. I had to sacrifice. I lived in my own apartment. You know, me and my son. I guess a pastor pad maybe. You know, my son part time, and I had to make a decision, and that decision was, do I try to stay in this apartment where I'm paying rent, and then when I find a house, somehow, some way, try to make my closing happen around the same time I'm supposed to get out of this lease, and that was gonna be impossible from my the way I was seeing things. This was not gonna happen. So the best thing for me to do was to move back home with Mom Dukes, and I love my mom, and as most men, grown men do, we love our parents, our moms, dads, but we ain't trying to move back home. We got our own spot. We tasted that freedom. You know, we like to do it. We like to have things our own way. We don't want to have to go back to, you know, our old bedroom. But I had to scale back, and I had to make a decision that was like, what's the best thing long term? So I moved back home, packed up my stuff, and I got out of the lease, and then I moved back home for about a year, and I saved, so that money that I would have been paying rent, you know, I saved that up. Of course, I gave Mom Duke some money to help out because I'm living in her house. So, you know, sometimes whatever your arrangement is, if you have to do that, make it work. But I made it work either way. That's my story, and I was able to save up enough money. I saved up about $12,000, and I used that for the down payment of my duplex. So, granted, my wife, but not at the time, she got her duplex, which was a 2-and-2, and I got mine, which was a 3-and-3. Now mine was 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Sorry, 3 beds, 1 bathroom on each side. So it was a 3-unit, 3 bed, 1 bath on each side. It was a side by side 3-and-3. Now being that my unit was bigger, I could charge more, and I had more space too because I had a son. You know, my wife, which was my girl at the time, she's coming by, so I had more space, but also it was just a good situation for me to be able to charge more rent because I had a bigger unit, so I could charge people who were gonna live on my next door unit next to mine more money. So I was able to charge $13.50. My mortgage at the time was like 10, was it 1018, something like that, 1018, 1072. You know, and that was it. So I was clearing about $200, and I was living for free. Yeah, so crazy, right? So just me meeting my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time. I know I keep saying that, but I don't want to mix y'all up. But just meeting somebody that was doing something different, and that gave me the idea. I got the idea from her. This was her idea. You know, we were talking to people at our job that were in the real estate, and they gave her the idea, and she shared it with me. And here we are. You know, we got duplexes, we got several properties now, but you know, it's just the idea that if you get around the right people, you know, their ideas will be shared with you. They'll share their confidence with you, because she was more than confident that she was going to get a house. I knew, and I just had met her at the time when she told me this. I knew she was going to get a house because she was so determined, and you know, she knew what she wanted to do. But I almost left out a important part of the story is she was going to buy her house cash, and I told her that I don't think that was a good idea because, you know, you can use other people's money, and I already had good credit. So I showed her how to get her credit established, and I'm working on something for y'all for that too, to help y'all in your journey as well. You know, getting your credit established. I'm working on something for y'all, so y'all see that soon. But you know, I helped her get her credit right so that she can then buy a house without using all of her money. So let's say the house was 60,000. she would have had to spend an entire 60,000, including renovations, blah blah blah, and all her money is gone. But now she only had to put maybe $10,000-$12,000 down on that duplex, and she can keep her money, and then she can do the same thing again, for the future if she wanted to use that money for something else, to buy a car, buy another house, go on a vacation. Her money is then, you know, still with her, but she used, her credit to leverage to get the house. So either way, I'm gonna make the videos. This is gonna be a quick video, and that's pretty much it, y'all. So I hope y'all really got something from this video. Understand the importance of getting around the right people, you know, and just how real estate and relationship changed my life. Because my life will never be the same because of meeting her and because of getting exposed to that information, of meeting. I mean, to get my life will never be the same because I met her and I've been exposed to that information about how to live for free. So, I hope this video helped y'all. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. I'm working on some stuff for y'all to help y'all get to the next level with real estate and all that. It's all coming, y'all. So stay tuned. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.